Today we are doing a very easy, very important lesson here. So now we are taking monomials, which means it's one term, and we're multiplying it by another monomial, which is also one term. So the first couple of questions, we are going to do something called expanding. When we expand, we take the monomial and we write how many x's it has. The first one is the number 5, and it has 4 x's. The next one is the number 2, and this one has 8 total x's. So I expanded it to see what we have in this question. So now I take my coefficients, those are the big numbers in the front, and I multiply. 5 times 2 is the number 10. So we multiply the coefficient. I multiplied the coefficient. 5 times 2 is the number 10. The last thing we're going to do is we are going to count our x's or a's or b's or whatever letter we're using. So in this one, they're x's. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them. So my answer is 10x raised to the 12th. Okay, so let's do the same thing with example 2. So in example 2, again, we have an A, and then we have 4 A's, and then we have 8 A's. There's no coefficient, so we don't have a step 2, because there's no multiplying. We don't have a coefficient to multiply here. But we do have to count our letters, or this one here, it's A's. So how many total A's do we have? Well, we had 1 here, we have 4 here, and we have 8 here. So that's a total of 13 A's. So in example 2, the correct answer is A raised to the 13. So let's try that same thing one more time. So example 3. So we have a 4, then we have a 10, then we have 2 A's and 3 B's. And the next one we have a 2, we have 4 A's, and we have 6 B's. So in the steps before, we're going to multiply our coefficient. So in this one, we have a 4 times 10 times 2. So all of my coefficients will get multiplied together. 4 times 10 is 40, times 2 is 80. So we multiply all of those coefficients, and then we're going to count how many A's we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A total of 6 A's. We're counting our letter. So then this one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have a total of 9 B's. So we multiply the big numbers and we count how many A's and B's we had. So the rule is we multiply the coefficient and then we just added our exponent. So counting is the same as adding. So we add the exponents. So in example 4, I have big numbers. Those are going to get multiplied. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Negative 12 times 2 is negative 24. We count our x's. There's 2 x's here, 5 x's here, 3 x's here. 2 plus 5 is 7, plus 3 more is a total of 10. Then we have y's. There are 5 of them here and 6 of them here. 5 plus 6 is a total of 11. So again, we remember we multiply the big number and we add our exponents. So I'm going to go back to the notes on this last page here. So in step 2, you can cross out what it was and you can write add the exponents. So we counted them when they were expanded, so that way we could see what we're doing, but it's the same as just adding those exponents. So let's practice a couple of those together, and then you'll try a few on your own. So in this first one here, again, multiply your big. 2 times 3 is the number 6. 2 x's here, 5 x's here. That's a total of 7 x's. These numbers are a little messed up, but that's okay. Let's look at the next one here. Multiply all of those big numbers. 6 times 2 is 12. Times 3 is 36. Count your letters. There's an A here and an A here, so that makes A to the second. There's a B and another B, that makes B to the second. There's a C and another C, so that makes C to the second. Okay, so we'll do that again with number 6. So you find the coefficients, those are the big numbers in the front, and you multiply. -4 times 9 is the number -36. We have 2 A's here and 1 A here, so that's a total of A to the third. We have 3 B's and 4 B's, so that's a total of B to the 7th. I'll do one more with you, and then you can try the next 4 on your own. So in number 2, find those big numbers. -3 is a big number, 2 is a big number, 4 is a big number. -3 times 2 is -6. -6 times 4 is -24. Count your x's. There are 2, 4, and 3 of them. 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 3 is 9. Then we find our y's. There's 1 y here, y to the 2, and y to the 8. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 8 is 11. Last but not least, we count our z's. There's 2 z's here, 9 z's here. That makes a total of z to the 11th. Okay, go ahead, take a minute, and try the 4 below. So go ahead, try numbers 7, 8, 3, and 4. So we are going to continue in the same world, but this time it's called rational exponents. So just so you know, rational has the word ratio, and what you hopefully learned in middle school is a ratio is just a fraction. So the word rational just means exponents that have a fraction in them. So don't let fractions scare you. We're going to do the exact same rule. So just like before, we multiply the coefficient, that is the big number. And just like before, we're going to add those exponents. But we can add them in the calculator to make it a little bit easier to deal with those fractions. So if you look at the first one, our coefficients are a 4 and a 5. 4 times 5 is 20. Then we have an x. So what we have here is this x to the 1/2 and x to the 3/4. Just like before, we're going to add those exponents. But if you struggle with adding fractions, you can just turn your calculator on and press Control Divide. So you'll press Control Divide, and then you can type in 1/2. Right click, plus Control Divide, 3/4. So if you do that correctly, 1/2 plus 3/4, you'll get the answer 5/4. So the correct answer to number 5 is 20, x to the 5/4. So now we'll do the same thing with number 1. So in number 1, multiply those big numbers. 8 times 4 is 32. Add your exponents. 1/2 plus 3/4 is 5/4. Easy, same rules, don't let it scare you. So you'll do the same thing with number 6. Multiply these coefficients. -6 times 2 is -12. Add your exponents. 2/3 plus 1/6. Put that in the calculator and tell me what you get. Same with the y. You have 1/5 and 3/5. Type that in the calculator and write down that exponent. So go ahead and try through the rest of these here. Multiply the big number, that's called a coefficient, and add your exponents. Same thing, you'll do the same with 7 and 8, and then 3 and 4. Multiply big number, add your exponents. So when you're ready, go ahead and flip to the very last page. So what we have here, a 0 exponent, is very easy. So back in the day, every time we had a 0 exponent, anything to the 0 power is the number 1. So we'll do that using that method first, and then I'll show you another method that you can do. So this is the number 4. anything to the 0 power can be replaced with a 1. So instead of x to the 0, there are no x's. X to the 0 means there's no x's left. So that there turns into a 1, and that gives me the number positive 4. So another way you can think of it, in number 1, if there are 0 y's, you can just cancel it out. 0 y's means there are no y's, so the answer is negative x squared. In number 3, z to the 0 means there are no z's in that piece. So now negative 2 times negative 3 is 6, and there is this z. That one's good. That's not to the 0 powers. That one got to stay in your answer. Let's look at the last two, and then we're done for today. So in this one here, again, 0 power, goodbye. 0 power, goodbye. Multiply negative 4 times negative 2 is 8. There's an s left over. There's an r to the 3rd left over. Easy. In number 4, anything to the 0 power, this whole thing is raised to the 0. So that gets to go away. That leaves us with 21ab. Not too bad.